I'll have a modified position here.
There you go. All right.
Any new desk, I'll take care of the whole thing.
What would you do differently?
I put the desk up here,
Well, we can put
and
you...
you'd be looking at the back of my head all the time.
All right. Okay, you're on. Welcome, folks.
See, that's... Hello, folks. Welcome to your weekly select board meeting. Our town clerk will not be present. She's administering the voting. I didn't look to be too crowded, but people are voting. That's a good thing. So with that, we'll get into our meeting. I've switched positions. We've had complaints that people only could see the back of my head, which may not be a bad thing. As you all know, the election's going on right now till 8 o'clock this evening. We've reviewed improved last week's agenda and this week's agenda, and the bills that were paid. This week's bills are rather extensive because they include our payment for the school, trash removal, snow plowing. So a lot of money's going out this week. Fortunately, you folks have all paid your taxes and we have the money. No ads in the shopping guide. Code enforcement officer, his February report is due actually next Tuesday. I noticed that the town clerk responded to a concern about accessibility in voting and explained the situation, and we were fine. We had our state police report. We're getting this report in lieu of York County. As everyone knows, most people know that York County does not support us with our deputy anymore. In looking over the state police information, we responded to 68 calls in the town of Parsonsfield, so that's good, good information, and they're certainly helping us out. Paper service, which is, I'm assuming, I don't know what, warrants or something or other, and medical, 10 each of those, so that was a third of the calls. The planning board meeting workshop for tomorrow has been canceled. I think that's on the website, but just to make sure you folks are aware. Animal control will be giving us something next week. And the comprehensive committee does have a meeting tonight at 6 o'clock. And the solar update is still in the air.
Change, yeah, unfortunately.
Well, you can't do much about it, Dave.
Yeah.
We had after the special town meeting last week, John Lesko said that he had a presentation he'd like to make to the board about the bipartisan national effort called Our Common Purpose Workshop. Sounds good. Really is what this is trying to develop more ways to get more people involved in government. I mean, you know, we have our town meetings, which get about 45 people, maybe 50 residents. You know, we've got special town meetings where we get 10 to 15 residents. You know, those people are representing 1,200 voters. And it's a lot of power to give to 20 people or 50 people. So the more people we have at these meetings, the better it will be in the sense that more people will be involved. So we'll be talking to John and have him come in for a workshop and see what his program is, and maybe we can apply it and get more people involved.
Are you going to schedule a workshop?
What?
Are you going to schedule a workshop?
Well, I thought you could do that later with John, when he's available.
Yeah, I don't think we want to schedule it right now. We got a lot on our platter. So, as important as it is, I think we need to wait a couple of
Okay.
weeks. That'd
Okay.
be my recommendation.
And I'll let them know.
Okay.
Tree growth selectman David Bauer is in tree growth. Obviously, Dave, you're the,
I'm in tree growth. If you recall, it was last spring actually, so almost a year ago, we sent out letters to people who were delinquent on updating their tree growth plans. They're basically out of compliance. I believe we sent out about 45 letters. We got a good response. We still, however, have 13 properties that are out of compliance. 3 of those just went out in February, so I'm not too concerned about those 3. So consider that we have 10 that are out of compliance. We also, within those 10, have 1 that should not be in tree growth. It was a case where somebody owned 5 acres in Parsonsfield and 100 acres in Limington that abutted it, and you can combine those. They sold the 5 acres in Parsonsfield, and unfortunately our board at the time, and this is back in 2006, did not pick up on that, and it stayed in tree growth. Not only out of compliance, but illegal because it's less than 10 acres. So that one will be coming out of tree growth regardless.
with a new owner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
I'm going to recommend that we issue, we issue supplemental tax bills for the last 3 years, because this has been going on, like I say, since 2006. So
We can go back 3 years?
we can go back 3 years. Yeah,
Okay.
if we need to do it before we commit taxes. So I'll be working on that. I'll be talking to our assessors to see what that penalty will be. I mean, it won't be other than the difference between the tree growth tax amount and the regular tax amount. The others, though, the other 9, what I'd like to do is do the second step in their notification process, which is a certified letter.
Excuse me.
We got a copy of a sample that the state approves from Dennis Darby at O'Donnell. I would like to use that and put together these mailings. I can do that in the next week or so and get those out. And basically they say you're out of compliance. You have 120 days to come into compliance. If you don't, you'll be fined. You'll be assessed an additional $500. It will not take your property out of tree growth, but if you don't reply after that 120 days, and I don't recall what the period is, then you get another $500 assessment. and I'm not sure where it goes from there. So anyways, hopefully we will get all of them. We do have one that, as you may recall, took 3 or 4 acres out to build a house, and they haven't updated anything. So that one needs to be followed up on. So anyways, that's it, and I'll keep you apprised of where we are on it.
Okay. Thank you.
Does everyone approve on the supplemental?
Well, I'll come up with the amounts, and we'll
Okay,
approve the
okay.
amounts, yeah.
We do have a email from David Lowry, our former town attorney, who's still following up on 3 issues that he's been working on for a while. And one was considering the Stanley Building. And I'm not sure what the attorney for the Stanley Building wants. David Lowry was our attorney. We transferred that, we hope, or we thought, over to the attorney representing the owners of the mill. So that's just in limbo, I guess, right now. We have the road commissioner, is Meyer still doing the FEMA stuff?
Yes, he's coming in tomorrow or Thursday.
No. Do we have any word or thoughts on when we're gonna get some money out of this foolishness?
Nothing permanent, no. Nothing definite, no.
I know that every other town working with this is still in the exact same boat.
I'm sorry, say again, Tim?
The other towns that are working with FEMA for the same storms
Yeah.
are in the exact same boat.
Yeah, well, I can imagine. I know Meyer and Debbie are on top of this. It's just a
Paperwork
matter
is
of
ridiculous.
Phenomenal,
timing.
phenomenal.
That's about it on the agenda, folks. Jen, do you have anything you'd like to supplement this with?
I do. The first thing I'd like everybody to know is that the stream crossing grant that we applied for was not approved, and everybody that okayed the $5,000 match from ARPA funds, I appreciate it, but that will obviously stay in ARPA funds. We weren't the only town who did not get the grant. I think Cornish applied, they didn't get it either. Very competitive, but definitely be trying that again next year for some culvert replacements and road repairs. Yeah, and you know what, I thought I would do the activity numbers for February. The Youthful Maine free food drive, we talked about that last week. We had 35 families. We had 55 people for lunch on Wednesday from the community cafe. And again, all Parsonsfield really takes the cake. I mean, we have most Parsonsfield residents to all of our activities. You know, at least probably 25 were Parsonsfield residents. Pickleball, we've been playing twice a week. Again, that's Parsonsfield, Cornish, Baldwin, and Porter seem to be the towns that come all the time. A lot of the same people. And coffee hour on Monday mornings is a fun, it's a good time. There's probably an average of 20 people that show up. Everyone brings baked goods, there's coffee. Several musicians have shown up lately with their mandolins and guitars and banjos, and that's been fun. So anybody who wants to come on Mondays at 10 when the town hall's open, it's fun. So those are our activities for February. The other thing that we're looking at, going back to the letter that Danielle got for ADA compliance, one of the things they mentioned was the door handles. So thinking of ARPA funds and what might benefit the town, I have 3 people coming to give us estimates on automatic door openers so that wheelchair access is easy, and anybody, you know, that requires an easier open than the doors. So we had somebody come yesterday, somebody's coming next week, and I have another email out. So we'll get estimates on what we can do to make our doors easier to open, and that will at least comply with
Are we looking at both front doors?
Yes.
Or the side door?
Both front doors to the
Okay.
main entrance. Yeah. It would be like a push button that would open both and stay open long enough to get in. So,
Okay.
yep,
Thank you.
sure.
Dave, anything additional?
I do. I don't know if you folks heard, but Ken Burbank is done as chief at Keyser Falls Fire Department.
Mhm.
Jeff Dutil is the new chief. I was invited to Ken's retirement party on Sunday. It was a very nice get-together at the fire station. They had representatives from all the surrounding towns there, and a couple of them gave him some plaques. And then all of a sudden, Jeff looked at me, and the representative from Parsonsfield, would you like to say something?
Oh, boy.
So, anyways, I went up, thanked him, and, told him we appreciated his service. Just, new chief had to watch the expenses, that's all. I said that joke. Let's see, at that party, I spoke with Tim Green about our cemeteries and fences. And, I apologized beforehand, because I know he was involved in talking about it with prior board members. He said, what's there is not salvageable. It's just, you can't weld it, it's old cast, it'll fall apart. You really need to replace it. We can replace it with something that looks nice, but the issue is cost. And then he thought about, I said, I know. We've got a cost issue, but we have a method in place now to save monies from one year to the next in the cemetery account. So I'd really like to look at it again. And he said, what we can look at also is doing a portion of the fence each year. I said, wonderful idea. I love it. So he's going to stop by on some Tuesday, and we'll go take a look at it and see if we can come up with a plan, which I'll bring to you guys, and go from there.
This is the cemetery down on,
Yeah, that one.
that way, whichever way.
Now that you're turning the other
Merrill
way.
Hill.
And
okay.
North Road, yes. Yeah.
Where would he go for railing, do you know? Because it might be something to ask about railings here too, if he has an idea of what he,
Well, it's just pipe
right,
that's going over there.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
not handrail,
not
kind of,
handrails,
no,
no.
all right,
He might be someone to ask.
He might
though,
be, right.
About railings.
yep,
I mean, he works with enough tradespeople, he may know, I can ask him that.
okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Handrails,
Yeah,
yep.
all right. Let's see, next is the sand and salt shed on Secocas Road. We got, after our insurance audit, we got a note that said they were taking away our collapse coverage because they were unsure of the integrity of the building after the fires that had been there, and they wanted us to get an engineering study. So I contacted Lee J. Feldman at SMPDC, and he gave me the name of a company in South Berwick who I contacted. And they said they can't put it on their schedule right now, but they can get to it in April sometime. And I said, that's good. We renew, I believe, July 1. I think we're on the same fiscal year as our insurance year is our fiscal year. So if we could get a report in April, we might be able to get some work done if any is required by the end of June. So that's in the works. The other thing is replacement, or possible replacement of our boiler. I'm going to be contacting some companies to come in and give us a quote. I'm not quite sure what our request for bid is going to look like yet, but we'll see in the next couple of weeks. And that's it.
Okay, thank you, Dave.
Do we want to mention anything about updating ordinances or anything else?
Finally, just to give
Have something specific.
everyone a little update on the ARPA funds that everyone hears about. The town was granted $209,000 through really 4 town meetings, special meetings, town meetings. We've spent $145,000. So that leaves us about $64,000, of which, as you've heard Jen and Dave both mention, we know that the automatic doors and the boiler would qualify for reimbursement, along with some railings for the front walkway. And that would probably take all our reserve money, all our extra money. However, as we've mentioned before, we're trying to see if we can get grants for these items. If we can, then we'd have more ARPA money to spend. So that's sort of in a state of limbo right now, but just know that we'll be spending all of our allotment one way or the other. And that's about it. We have no guests today.
I do have one more thing. It's a.
Yeah, you have to wait until next week, Jen, I'm
Right.
sorry.
Oh, no, we're still on. Citizen concern form we talked about last week. I'll just put down something that we can put online that people, we had a gentleman come in and say that the culverts on his roads were washed out and there was flooding. He could certainly fill out something like that, and we could file it so that we would have a, hard copy of what's going on, and if Maya was called and what was done. So just take a look at it, see if it's something you guys like, and we could put it
Now,
on.
this would include things like mailboxes that get destroyed
Yep.
by
Anything,
Anything. Yeah.
mattresses.
errant plowers.
Yep,
My only concern
is that,
is that it says complaint twice. And
Right.
that would make that concern.
we can definitely do that. I picked up on that too.
Otherwise, I'm fine with it.
Okay,
Yeah,
yep,
yeah. It's
Okay,
the
so
kind of
this will-
thing that you can modify as you
Yeah.
go if necessary.
If necessary.
But I think that would cover
This will give us a good way to track what's happening and what people are concerned about,
it, right?
and make
Maybe-
sure
maybe
we
even
follow
look
up
alike.
with your problems. I don't know if we want to number these or anything, but
perhaps, yep.
I don't know.
There's a dates on them at least. There's a date.
Or you
there.
make 2 copies and, I
Yeah.
don't know, we'll have to
Yeah.
figure that out, but it's good that we have a start here. Okay, folks, that's
Awesome.
it for today. Look forward to hearing from you next week,
Leave,
seeing you, listening to you.
leave.
David is shutting us off. A sad thing to go.
After you hit that hammer.
Well, we're going to time this now, though. 1, 2.
Yeah, I don't have control over this stuff.
Thank you, folks.
Is that like a legal requirement, that gavel, the hitting of the gavel?
Well,
Probably.
It's a good prop.
It is a good prop.